Hey guys, so this is my first video, and today I'll be talking to you about why Aladdin, the original 1992 animation and the live action one, was a terrible movie. Both of them were terrible movies, and they don't represent Arab culture or Islamic culture whatsoever, and I'm saying that as a Muslim. And I'll explain why. You may have seen a lot of videos like this, but I'm gonna add my own points on top of all the other points other YouTubers have pointed out about this movie, and why I personally believe this is an insult to Arab and Islamic culture. So it's gonna be a bit unique. First, let's talk about the obvious thing every commentary video slash video essay on this movie begins with, and that is gonna be the song. So it's, and I quote, where it's flat and immense and the heat is intense, it's barbaric, but hey, it's home. So they're basically saying that Arab culture is barbaric from the start, and in the theaters, it was where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. Hey, it's barbaric, but it's home. That's truly unbelievable that they would destroy Arab culture by calling it barbaric. And the second point is how this guy is wearing a turban that looks like a Sikh turban, which is Indian and not Arab. Neither is it Islamic. And trust me, this is the last point that will sound identical, but actually the palace looks like a Christian church and not like how Arabian architecture and domes would work in real life. So before the next point, I need to explain what Orientalism is. So Orientalism is basically the idea that the West is separate from the East, and the East is a whole blob of different countries and it does not have distinct cultures. So they mix up every brown culture from Arabia all the way to India into one thing and call it Orientalist culture, which doesn't exist. They basically make a blob out of every culture and say that's our culture. They make fun of brown culture like, what the heck, guys? And they sexualize our women like crazy because Orientalism, huh? It was the whole thing that made the West believe that colonialism was the right thing, because colonialism was supposed to be, see, we are civilizing the savages. And even though Arab women dress really traditionally, this Orientalism basically made them sexualize these women so much that this woman is literally bumping her ass against Aladdin. Like, what the heck, guys? You could have gone for some kind of cultural study to see if you were correct or not. You went so off. My next point is the flying carpet. Now, the flying carpet does not exist in the original Aladdin story. They have taken it from another Arabian Nights story because it's a whole collection of stories. They have basically mishmashed all the stories. I don't understand. Another critique I have is about the genie, the jinn, to be accurate to Arab culture and Islamic culture. I'm a Muslim, I'm doing this from an Islamic perspective, so I need to be honest here. Jinns that grant wishes are definitely devils within Islam, because in Islam you are only supposed to rely on Allah for your wishes to be granted. You are not to be reliant on some kind of jinn, and if you do that, then you are basically selling your soul. So this jinn is a devil, and beyond that, his features are not correct either. He's not supposed to be some blue guy. According to Islamic tradition, jinn are made from smokeless fire, and I don't think smokeless fire is blue. Now, you might be able to claim that these are part of all Middle Eastern myths, but these jinns that can grant wishes are basically devil. Why are they granting wishes? I think La ilaha illallah was made clear. That means there is no God other than Allah, and no one should be relied upon other than Allah, unless you want to go to hell for relying on any being other than Allah, or God in Arabic, that is. God. I'm only saying this because medieval Islam would have been really strict on this. If someone came along and said that a jinn grants my wishes and I don't rely on God for my wishes, then they would be called they would be called blasphemous, and they would be called an apostate, and they would have a trial, and they would probably be sentenced to stoning if they do not recant this claim, if they do not throw this claim away. And my other gripes with this thing is that yes, they have name dropped Allah multiple times in the movie. So why not give the Islamic call to prayer? That was not only a religious thing, it was the only way of telling time in medieval Islamic societies. You would basically hear the call to prayer for the morning, the noon, and the afternoon, and then the evening, and you would know the time by that. And why do the only two main characters, Aladdin and Jasmine, have really crazy American accents? Like, as if people with American accents are the only people you can trust. Like, what the heck, Disney? I honestly don't understand what they were thinking with this one. Another one of my questions, and this is another one of my original points, like the original point about the azan and other stuff like that. Why wasn't the caliph ever name dropped or mentioned, or even a fictional caliphate mentioned? Because the Islamic world at this point would be under a caliphate, so why wasn't a caliphate mentioned in Aladdin? Can anyone give me the answer to this? So, yes, Disney was not faithful to the culture they were representing here whatsoever. They basically turned it into a caricature of an Arab instead of an actual Arab movie or Islamic movie, even. I know these movies are supposed to be made for kids, but at least show some cultural respect. Like, you wouldn't expect a movie to be set in Europe without mentioning, for example, knights or kings. So, why isn't there a caliph in the entire thing? And yeah, like, please explain. And why isn't there basically anything that makes it look Arab? Why is everything so Indian all of a sudden in this entire movie? Like, I know you guys are orientalist, you think the East is filled with every culture that's very similar. For example, you think that Indians are very similar to Arabs, but that is not the case. Please do better research, Disney. Like, imagine trying to make something Arab or Islamic, but actually ending up making it neither Arab nor properly Islamic because you basically misjudged the entire cultural context. They were supposed to place it in Baghdad, but they placed it in India and all over different places which are not Baghdad. This is not okay. And they mishmashed all of those things together, and now they tell us this is somehow Islamic or Arab. That's not the case. Huge shout out to Yusuf Abdul Hussein, the Kuwaiti guy who inspired this video. Like, I really watched his video about how Aladdin is Orientalist, and I thought I could add some points as well. So I also made this video. I hope he doesn't mind. It was an inspiration. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Anyways, I'll make a second part on the 2019 version of the same movie, the live action version. I'll see